Now, all I need is 5 minutes of your time to explain to you why this player is a better pick for your FPL team than that player. Now, who is this player? Who is that player? Mo Salah, Erling Haaland. I feel like every single Premier League season, we have the same debate season after season. Who should you have in your team? Should you have both? Should you have one of the two? Or maybe, just maybe, should you try and leave out both? When you look at the start of the season, Erling Haaland at the moment is sitting on 5 league goals. Mo Salah, 2 goals, 1 assist. The difference is, bearing in mind, they're both relatively the same price, 14.1 million. I feel like with Mo Salah at the moment, his start to the season at Liverpool, yes, they're winning games. Yes, he's getting some form of GA. The performances aren't backing it up. Now, fair enough, when it comes to FPL, nobody cares about performances. It's all about output. But I feel like eventually the output will start to back the performances. And I've been watching Mo Salah ever since the season started. And I truly feel like this is the season where he suffers from the big contract curse. Yeah, he spent all of last summer grinding, putting in the hours, putting the ball into the back of the net. Finally got his contract. And I feel like this season, his form might fall off the cliff. Mo Salah will still get you a ridiculous amount of output, but does it warrant the 14.1 million price tag? When you look at his heat map so far at Liverpool, very out wide, very isolated. When you look at the amount of shots that he's having in games, it's not as much as Mo Salah usually does in this period of the season. Now then, the comparison is Erling Haaland, who is just a goal machine. With Erling Haaland for 14.1 million, you have to accept one thing and one thing only. Haaland will get you goals, but he won't get you anything else. Haaland isn't really a chance creator. He doesn't really chip in with the odd assist here and there. Erling Haaland is just goals. If it's not goals, you're getting yourself minimum 2 points, okay? So I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, which one is the best pick? And personally, for me, when you look at their fixtures, you've got Erling Haaland, who's got Arsenal, Burnley, Brentford next. Mo Salah, he's got Everton, Palace, Chelsea. You can't keep chopping and changing between the two. I'm looking at it and thinking, at the moment, your safe bet is somebody like Erling Haaland. Especially, I want you to remember this, especially the fact that Phil Foden is back in the team. There's something about Erling Haaland and Phil Foden when playing together on a weekly basis where they both get the best out of one another. And maybe, just maybe, you should start looking at somebody like Phil Foden in order to bring him into your team. But I feel like his price tag is a bit too high. When you bear in mind Pep Guardiola roulette, the chopping and changing, you never know if he's starting or not. But Erling Haaland is a staple. Erling Haaland, you know, he is starting week in, week out, especially when you bear in mind the only other replacement is Omar Marmoush, and he's out for the next month. Erling Haaland, for me, is a safe bet. He's just a goal machine, and I feel like looking at him this season, he looks hungry, like that performance in the Manchester derby. I wouldn't be surprised if he carries that form and confidence against Arsenal. With Mo Salah, there's a lot of question marks. From one, him getting older and aging and physically declining, to two, Arne Slot is finally beginning to implement his philosophy on the team this year, and maybe, just maybe, Mo Salah's role this year is to hug the flanks and maintain that width. But also, you have to look at Mo Salah and ask yourself, is it going to work with somebody like Alexander Isak? Like, Alexander Isak is walking in probably to carry the mantle of putting the ball into the back of the net. So is now Mo Salah a chance creator from out wide? And if he is, he can't really drift into those dangerous areas to have shots on goals. And you have to bear in mind, with Liverpool, somebody like Florian Wirtz not having the best of starts to the season. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the reason why somebody like Mo Salah is struggling to get into dangerous areas, struggling to have shots on goal, because he's not really being fed the ball. Now, this is me being devil's advocate and sympathizing for Mo Salah's lack of output, but at the same time, sympathizing doesn't get me points on FPL. It doesn't. If I'm doing a football podcast, I can sit down and tell you about I sympathize with Mo Salah because A, B, C, and D. But in FPL, it's a cutthroat game. If you don't deliver, you're out. And I'm looking at it and thinking, Mo Salah, there's a lot of question marks offensively. The numbers aren't the most pleasing. Your heat map isn't the most pleasing. Your overall contributions on the season aren't the most pleasing. But somebody like Erling Haaland, he's just a guaranteed goal machine. And because of that, ladies and gentlemen, where should you put your 14.1 million? Erling Haaland is your safe bet. He scores you goals. Even the risk of losing him for a month to the African Cup of Nations, you don't have to worry about it. Erling Haaland should be in your team for now, and maybe we can assess it later on in a few months. Now, if you always want yourself some FPL tips, some FPL hints, if you want some guidance, if you want yourself a social media friend that can be there to guide you, support you through these tough weeks, make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, and I will catch you guys on another one.